I'm transforming myself into a sugar plum fairy, so if you want to see how I did that, every single product I use, keep watching. My skin is already prepped with skincare, but I always go in with a grippy primer, especially when I have active acne and scarring. To tone down the redness and even everything out, I'm taking the Ilia Skin Tint and doing a really thin layer of that all over, then using a cool tone contour stick. I used to think these looked super gray and would look weird on me, but this is quite literally the perfect shade and actually hollows out my cheek. I put my bronzer right above the contour where the sun would naturally hit. I wanted a pinky plum look, so I'm mixing the Rhode blush in shade Piggy and then topping it with the shade Plum. Spot concealing blemishes and scars with the Hourglass concealer. On active acne, I try to remember to use a brush instead of the applicator so I'm not spreading bacteria. For full coverage, I let it sit for about 5 minutes. To cancel out the purple under my eyes, I'm using the Kosas color corrector in shade Magic. Adding concealer under my eyes, cheeks, any other spots that I want to brighten, and letting that sit while I blend out the spot concealer. This is the Haus Labs concealer brush and it has been my all-time favorite. I also lightly contour my nose with that same cool shade since my nose can kind of look flat when the rest of my face is bronze. Keep my under eyes smooth and from creasing all day. I take a Q-tip and wipe off the makeup that is in the crease and then I powder. First, I lightly set my whole face with a damp sponge so my face doesn't get dry, and then I'm gonna bake to add more brightness and dimension. Lightly filling in my brows and slicking them down with gel. I'm using the Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette, building up my crease and winging that out a little bit with a lighter pinky shade, and then using a darker plum burgundy shade to make a little C shape on my outer corner and in like that socket right there. The pink and white shades in this palette are so brightening. I felt like something was missing, so I added a tiny baby wing and deepened the outer lash line with dark brown. For the lower lash line, I layered that light pink and then closer tucked in that burgundy and dark brown. These Too Faced sparkles are the best sparkles ever. For the lashes, I'm of course using the ones I've been obsessed with. For the people that have asked how I apply them, I start with the longest length 14 on my outer corner, then I go in with a 12 to create a soft gradient. Sometimes I will do 3. It just depends on how I'm feeling in the look. I wanted more burgundy, so I added this Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner in shade Pillow Talk to my waterline, and then the Benefit mascara in burgundy to my lower lashes. Dior Berry blush is perfect for this and ties in with the eyes. And then I wanted to add a little bit more warmth in my face with the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, and then wiping off that bake. Spraying the One Size powder mist to kind of melt everything together, make sure we don't look dry and cakey. Finishing touches, adding a little highlight to my nose and cheekbones. For the lips, I'm actually using the same eyeliner that I used on my lash line and really blending that out with the Rhode lip liner in shade Lift. And topping it off with the Rhode Peppermint Glaze, which also has a very subtle sparkle in it. I also like to bring back a few little beauty marks on my face because it gives a really soft vintage look like old classic Hollywood photos. This makeup is so flattering on everybody that I've seen it on. The lips and the eyes match perfectly and the blush brings out all the pink tones. I really do feel like a sugar plum fairy princess.